Now that you've gotten funded, it's 150K on an internal level. Do you feel like now that you've got to this level, are you confident that you can do this again?
I'm starting to visualize myself as a trader in the coming months. 300 or 400 in total invested in this before I actually got the 150. So yeah, now let's not blow it up. Yeah. Let's get away from that.
When you first heard about bootcamp, was there anything that you immediately felt like you were skeptical about?
I didn't really know what many people you were working with, so I don't know if it was going to be like actual one-on-one sessions. So I didn't want it to be just like this regular course where you just get senseless content and everyone just trying to sell themselves. Like, to be honest, by the moment I joined, I was still a bit skeptical as to, okay, what's it going to actually be like?
Yo, what's up, man? It's good to see you.
Yeah.
Anyways,
yeah, no worries.
So yeah, this is just going to be I don't want to say it's an interview, but we usually do this with people that have, gotten really good results. And out of so many like bootcamp students that we've had the pleasure of coaching so far, like from day one, you were like one of the most consistent, like not only were you putting in the hard work, but you also, you got results really quick. And it could have been a combination of a few things. But in general, like, I just like to do this just to help like any others who, may be struggling.
Happy to be an example.
Cool, man. Cool. So yeah, I'm just going to get into it. Again, don't treat this like some scripted interview or whatever. It's just, we're going to have a little conversation. That's all. So yeah, I'd like to get a bit of a background from you. It's Pablo. Just wondering, like, before joining bootcamp, like, what were you doing as a job?
Well, I'm still at that job, but the goal is to go into full-time trading.
Yeah.
And I feel more comfortable with saying that as a true goal now. I'm an engineer as my background, and I started working first in tech consulting, then in strategy consulting. So I've been very heavily focused into data, especially at the early parts of my career and on my studying years. A few years ago, with the last Bitcoin cycle, actually, like when we were already on the way down, I started to bidding. So I was doing things. I was creating money from that, not really with a plan in mind, just seeing the number go up. Didn't know when to exit at the right time. So instead of doing the structure before, I realized through trial and error, started this year trying to trade a bit back into different topics. And so I actually found out your channel. So I followed it for a while and seeing the results. I think that could be like something that makes sense to me. This scenario-based thinking, and you go in with a plan, but you adapt to what the market's giving you, not to what are not what you expect, which is something that it's a lesson that needs to be learned. Yeah.
Do you remember one of the things you said?
Yes, I saw the results, wanted to have the same thing for myself. That was pretty much it.
But I remember those were, I think, early on in one of the first weeks, when we asked how long had you been following me. I think you were only following me for like 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, I mean, I had been watching every video for like 2-3 weeks or so. And actually I believe that also part of the sessions or interactions. But yeah, after 2 or 3 weeks or so, they were good weeks, but both in sense of not everything being a tradable day, but also as to realize when to take a step back and not trade on those days. So I saw the ideas were playing out. I was missing that part of some of the concepts and the actual execution of it. So yeah, I was convinced. I saw them. There were still a few spots available, and also was nearing like the time I was going to be off for holiday. So I jumped in and went for it. And so far, I haven't regretted the decision in the least.
Sick, man. That was amazing to hear. Dude, out of just curiosity, like before when you first heard about bootcamp, was there anything that you immediately felt like you were skeptical about? Or were you just, sounds good, let's go in?
Yeah, but when you hear bootcamp, it's going to be a bit intensive. I didn't really know what many people you were working with, both in terms of like your team as well as students. So I don't know if it was going to be like actual one-on-one sessions or like there was going to be support behind it. So I didn't want it to be just like this regular course where you just get hours and hours of content, senseless content, and everyone just trying to sell themselves like, look at how I do these things. I'm so good at this. I'm so good at this, but you do not get any actual juice. So I had a session with Rich, and I mean, he clarified some of these questions and topics. And yet, to be honest, by the moment I I joined, I was still a bit skeptical as to, okay, what's it going to actually be like when I'm in the group chats? And then I saw that it was like just a cool team of guys sharing their doubts and questions and how they view the market. So I was like, okay, this is going to be more of a community thing, meaning I'm not going to be just left alone on this. And I saw like the questions out. Some people actually reached out to me from the very beginning. So yeah, I think I fit right in.
Yeah. There's people like the community guys, right?
Yeah, the structure I liked as well, meaning at the beginning. So you get some content, but you also have like these sessions where you can start asking questions. And I actually see like the new guys joining in now, and I feel I identify myself a lot in them in a sense of, okay, I know the type of questions they're asking. I'm in model X, like where you're, on the daily bias, I'm getting a 60-70% win rate. And you're like, okay, yeah, I was that guy as well. I remember sharing those screenshots in the accountability.
Yeah, I remember as well, yeah.
And now that becomes more of second nature. So every time you go into the next step or next phase, you don't look back at it often. But since there are new students joining in, I actually get to see that process again from this point of view now.
Nice. Have you been answering the questions?
I've been answering some, have some of my own as well. I mean, yeah, I've joined this like 2 months ago, so I cannot say I'm a veteran now. I may be a veteran compared to some of the guys, but still, this is a work in progress. So it's good to see like the different points of view, and then the actual answer in some of these cases, which is either Sid or you, that puts some order in it. But yeah, you can tell some guys like Nas and Simon that have been doing this for a while. So it's a really good dynamic to see everyone involved, and it's so many different backgrounds. And like I even was planning on having a one-on-one session with one of the guys as well to live trade. So yeah, with Joe, one of the guys that joined in at the same time. So yeah, so far I mean I felt supported. I think it's a really good environment to grow in, especially the key part of it. I think there's good content and good work team behind it that actually make this look like it can be a very profitable adventure. So,
okay.
Which is, I believe, one of the reasons why we all joined, if not the reason.
Yeah. So definitely not the big group chat with zero support and hours and hours of content. Nothing like that. Eh?
Yeah. You can see that like answering like the most trivial questions or someone placing in questions that you had never thought of. So yeah, it's a good community feeling. And you guys are really involved. So that's something that we truly appreciate, at least that the guys have spoken to as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, we'll continue to keep it up.
Yeah, now the goal is to scale this, and I'll continue asking things, but hopefully my next questions are more in the sense of how can I make this even bigger?
Yeah. I mean, you're already asking it.
Right. I'm already starting to ask those because I know, and that's also been one of my areas of improvement, or something that I can recommend to the next guys coming down, is the market's going to always be there. No need to rush every single step of it, especially on an intraday basis. You pretty much get at least one opportunity per day. So in this case, it's get to a stage, settle there, repeat as much as you need, then move on to the next stage. I believe that could have accelerated my process even a bit more. So yeah, especially like code backtest as I passed to the next phase. I know I should have backtested a bit more after that stage, but trial and error again. So
is that
I either win money or learn a lesson. So far, that's the approach I'm taking.
So if you would to someone who's already in bootcamp, like someone who's still a little bit behind you, you would tell them to backtest a bit more and take the live trading a bit slower.
Yeah, I think. I mean, live testing is also a good lesson, but backtesting, I believe, is where you get more confident in what you're doing. And when you translate that to actual live trading, just make sure that you're not at all times standing in front of the chart, because you're going to end up seeing ghosts. And you see, okay, now it's bearish, now it's bullish, now it's bearish. So you end up taking senseless trades. It's better to take those senseless trades in backtesting than in doing it. Live testing. That's the biggest lesson that I've learned.
100%. Yeah, that's a nice way to put it, actually. I'm going to steal that. You look at the chart too much, you start seeing ghosts. I really like that.
Yeah. That's something. And even this week, I that happened to me as well. That one of the guys was sharing a meme today, and I felt really identified. Like, okay, yeah, that's exactly what happened yesterday. let's move on. Let's forget yesterday and let's look for an opportunity today. You get a new chance every day or every week. So this is the long term is to be profitable in the long term, to reserve your capital, mental capital, as you always say. So yeah, I think that's something that I still need to improve on, but I think I'm getting better at, for sure, than a month ago or so.
So right now you're funded for like what, 150, right?
Yeah.
How long?
150.
How long did you spend on that account to pass it?
I think I had 3 failed ones plus another one. So since I got at this account, I believe it was like 300 or 400 in total invested in this before I actually got the 150. So yeah, now let's not blow it up. Let's get away from that trading threshold. But yeah, so far I think it's paid off, the investment in that funding account.
Good to hear, man. Just circle back for a bit, like just going back to like at the start. Before you joined bootcamp, you mentioned that you started coming into the markets when it was like back in the 2021 bull run, when it was starting to come down. Prior to that, like, were you doing any other like were you already actively trading, or were you like kind of not really?
Rather than trading, it was more investing. So it was PCA and pretty much that. I was not using any leverage or anything like that, or in most cases I wasn't. So yeah, it was more in terms of long-term investment. And as this market started to go back up again, and I was seeing some profits, instead of selling at the right time, I held on longer than I should have. So yeah, the key topic there was, okay, I do not want to repeat the same mistakes every 4 years. I want to learn a skill that is going to be useful for the rest of my life, which I believe it definitely is. So yeah, even if it's for other investments, it's good to know when it makes sense to enter or not, like at a larger time frame. It's small things like that already push me more towards this, towards trading. At the beginning, I was thinking of it more of a side hustle. Always in the look for something, but an actual skill that could help with the management of money and investments in that sense. Now, I'm starting to visualize myself as a trader in the coming months. Still need to finish some things off. Need to make sure that this is not a 1 week, 2 week thing, that this is something that I can stay consistent at for months at a time. So yeah, I want to do things right. As I was saying, testing, it's better to do it if you have a safety net. In this case, my job at the time. But if I see this going at the pace I'd like to, for sure, I'll go for it and enjoy the freedoms that can come with it.
Would you say the stuff you learned as part of bootcamp has allowed you to think that you can be a better investor? Because you mentioned the stuff you learned has allowed you to enter better from the higher time frame.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think what drew me to this at first was you were showing videos of an intraday perspective. Based on that, I thought, okay, I can do this on a regular basis if it fits with just small capital. But also, like, once you go in, you see the different time frames. You see that seed is more specialized in swing trading. So yeah, for investment as a whole, it gives you a bit. You always, if you want to invest in something in the long term, it's best to also know the fundamentals of it. But having the technical aspect to see good entry points and things like that, I think that's always going to be super helpful to squeeze that extra percent that always adds up in the long term. So yeah.
All right. Then now we just fast forward a little bit. When you so back then, before you joined, when you first heard about bootcamp, the thing you were skeptical about was like, oh, is this just going to be another course, and then you're just going to be one of multiple hundred people? You're not going to get the support. So we've already kind of addressed that. I'm just curious, like at the time, even though you were skeptical of it, what was the thing that made you decide to go ahead with bootcamp anyways? Like, was it just seeing my content, or was there like a specific anything? I'm just curious.
I mean, I already had, like, by following the videos and the thought process and things like that, it's something that I could get myself into, meaning to better understand. So one of the key problems that I was having before all of this, as I didn't know what I would need to know, it was harder to filter out what were the good videos, the good creators, things like that.
Yeah.
But the way you explained it and the consistency, you were not boasting like, this is how I make 10K a day. So some of these eye-catching videos, it was more like, okay, this is how I see this for today. Tomorrow it can be a different thing. And just remember that we trade what we get, we don't trade what we expect. So these are the different scenarios. So yeah, I like the thought process behind it. When I called Rich, I liked the way that he was presenting it as well. So yeah, I think that was the big topic behind it, meaning your videos as well as what were the system that was behind it, meaning knowing that it was smart money concepts and ICT, which I had heard plenty of times, but I was lacking that structure to understand, okay, let's go from this topic to this topic to this topic. So yeah, I mean, if you want a shorter answer, it was your videos, for sure.
Dude, that's so interesting that you like listening to you explain it that way. I was even considering, like, we were having a discussion with the team, and I was like, guys, hear me out.
Mhm.
I think I'm not getting as many views because I'm a bit too like rational, or like it's a bit too logical. You know, it's not exciting to hear, oh, there's these scenarios. This could happen, but that could happen. You know, people just want to know Bitcoin's going to go to 150,000. Like, to hear you like kind of validate like that was the reason why you ended up joining. I guess I'll just keep doing that approach.
For me, for sure, I mean, I like the thought process. I do not want to be in it where I see a community where no one's questioning what they're saying, where in a video he says it's going up and the next one, I told you it's going down. So I do not like those kind of videos, like people posting about what they do. I like that you kept a similar approach every single day, that it was something that it was replicable. And for me, that I'm more on the analytical side, it was perfect for me. So yeah. I think that definitely, to be honest, I don't remember how I got to your first video, but once I saw that one, I was like, okay, I like the thought process. I will continue doing this on a daily basis. So,
yep. So that's really good to know, man. Then if you can like remember back in your early days inside bootcamp, let's say let's say the first couple of weeks, do you remember anything that really surprised you about like the whole experience?
Yeah, I remember one of the topics that you had mentioned it also in a video as well, but when I was asked, what would be a short-term win, like a quick win for me? To be honest, I didn't really know what to put there. So I was like, I don't know, maybe 5K in the first few months, or have 3 consecutive trades like that I see as positive. So I didn't even know what to put as real target. And then in one of your comments or videos, you were saying, okay, with 300 to 500, if you get a 10 hour per month, which is not something unrealistic, you can be at 30K. A month. So I was like, okay, those are definitely numbers that I was not even considering beforehand. That pulled me in. Also, when I started watching the content, it was the same thing. I was seeing that the pieces start to make more sense, and that I was getting better at filtering out what content in elsewhere, in other formats, YouTube and other places, really made sense to me. So it was not just, okay, this is the video or the contents that they're giving me, but I can also filter out outside of from here what actually is going to be beneficial for me. So that was also already a big step forward.
So you're saying like the content inside bootcamp helped you to have a better filter when you were like on YouTube?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and knowing what content resonate better, which ones make more sense. So it's not like just trade this one candle a day with all these type of videos.
Yeah, that's funny, man. That's always the thing that gets the beginners, though.
Yeah, for sure. And I was at that stage where I saw some of them and they were contradictory, and one made sense, one didn't. They were boasting about big numbers, but I was like, okay, I don't think this is it for me. And not only your videos, but the ones that I also follow are on logical sense and that approach, similar like the T trades, A trades, things like that. I like that type of content as well. I like let's not overcomplicate this. We just want high quality setups. And what makes a high quality setup, and this is it. So
yeah. So yes, on that note, so obviously like when you hear ICT or when you hear smart money concepts, first thing that comes to mind, at least for me, is that it's incredibly long. There's a lot of fluff to go through, and there's a lot of like very contradictory opinions as well regarding the topic.
Mm-hmm.
Was Bootcamp able to kind of like simplify things and allow you to understand things clearly, or was it? Yeah, did it manage to do that?
Yeah, it definitely did. And I think the way is presented, so you can start from someone that has no clue about any of these concepts, or well, no clue. I wouldn't say anyone with no clue. That's the best target, but at least someone that's interested in the topic.
Yeah, we don't
target that. You make sense one step at a time. Yeah. You make sense. You make sense through it one step at a time. Meaning, okay, this is market structure. This is what AMD is. This is where the draw on liquidity. This is the power three. So concepts that if you get them one by one, they start to make sense as a whole. And that I do think the way that it's presented, I know, like as you were saying, this is a topic that some people may discuss in a different way or have some different opinions. Well, as you say, the proof is in the pudding. So I don't care if it can be done in a better way. If I get X% win rate and consistency and I feel comfortable with what I'm doing, for me, it's good enough. And always I'll thrive on improving. But for sure, it's better to know you need to, or you can improve when you're doing at least something that keeps you at a profitable stage or not losing money.
All right. So basically, info aside, you don't really care how it's presented. What's most important is that the concepts and the videos itself has allowed you to start making money like ASAP.
I mean, that's a positive thing for sure. The biggest thing is that it's made sense of things for me. So it's not I make money because you make money. It's not like a copy trade or anything like that. It's because you start, okay, so when I make money, it makes sense to me. Meaning, okay, I took this trade that for me was reasonable. Same thing the other way around. When I take senseless trades, if I review them afterwards, I'm like, okay, I know that I did this thing wrong. It's not that I was just entering a nice thing just for the sake of it. So yeah, in both scenarios, I think you learn more through the mistakes. At least I can reason out what's the error behind them. Meaning, before I could fail a trade and not really know what was the reasoning behind it.
Yeah.
Okay, why does this work on this scenario and it doesn't on this one? So yeah, I'm not saying I'm perfect. It's an improving thing, but for sure more confident in the thought process and everything.
Cool. That's really good to know. And so that was like more towards, the first couple of weeks. But as you, continue moving through bootcamp, what would you say is like the one thing that has helped you just get the biggest results? Like if there's one thing that was the most valuable.
Yep. I think backtesting is one. I think backtesting is something that you need to get in the reps. That's for sure one of them. And then the second one, which is a big part of it, is the psychological aspect. Meaning you always want to rush into things and, okay, what's then? I want to know this concept before this next big move happens. But then you start realizing there's always going to be a big move up or down. And on an intraday basis, you don't care if it does not need to be like a 10, 20% move of price. You start realizing that you get opportunities every single day. So it's best to not waste your capital, both mental and physical, and no action can be the best action in most cases. So yeah, the psychology of it is something that I know is going to be something that continually needs to be worked on, but I just wanted to make it second nature. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I definitely remember there was when I think after you failed your first funding challenge, you were like, I think one of the key topics we were discussing was like overtrading and how you needed to dial back. What was out of curiosity, just so everyone struggles with overtrading, at least almost everyone I know. Like tactically speaking, like how did you manage to overcome that? So obviously you talked about psychology already, but in terms of like things you did.
So I think for starters, I tried to limit my trading into a specific time frame in the day. I was best suited for that asset. So instead of spending time, the more I spend on the chart, the more I'm going to be looking, seeing those ghosts and seeing like entering on unnecessary trades. So there's two aspects of it for me. First one is I limited myself to that silver bullet, to 10 to 11 New York time for the indexes. And also only if this criteria is met, I will enter. And even if I fail once. I will not go for a second one. So little by little, that was my intention too. Okay, let's look for one quality setup trade per day. And then from that, once you get the confidence on that one, I may start including other topics or other assets. I want to be focused on that. And also, it's what I can do best now, as I have a lot of work at the moment. Yeah. But yeah, I believe it was not always intentional, but I think it's helped me stay away from the charts and really focus on that quality setup once a day.
Dude, it's so interesting to know as well. Because I always tell people like, one of the biggest blessings, or like really, like doing bootcamp and doing YouTube, and like actually teaching people how to do this, like me spending my time on this has helped me trade better. Because I pretty much come check the charts for like in a very specific time window, and I don't spend too much time on it, which ironically allows me to yeah, I know exactly what I'm looking for. If it's there, I take it. If it's not, I just go back to work. If that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that really makes sense. And I think it was right about the time I was joining, but you had the session on maintenance. I thought it was a really positive lesson, but that was not the intention that I had at the time. I had a lot of energy, wanted to spend lots of time in the charts and looking for the best opportunities. In reality, I think that's one of the best ways to start because you limit the time you spend at the charts, and as you're saying, you look for quality setups. I agree. I mean, being busy is helpful for me.
Okay, that's good to know. Outside of the things that you did that ultimately gave you the breakthrough, if you would say like as you went through bootcamp, if there was like one thing that we did or like the program offered in general that you found like most valuable or like the most helpful, what would that be?
Yeah, let me think about that one. I mean, I definitely think the backtest review is something that both for the good and for the bad is good because lets you be the one who you get to the thought process and then it's validated or invalidated by someone externally and you actually get the result. So I believe the backtest review to me is the most beneficial topic out of it because you can get the concepts from a lot of different places, but that one is you're actually putting in the reps and they're actually being reviewed or followed up by someone. And also it's a really dumb thing, but when you are, it's not only the full backtest reviews, the 30-minute sessions or so for individual trades, as you need to put them and they're reviewed in front of more people. You do not want to make senseless trades that are shown up there. So that aspect is like, okay, yeah, for sure. Which is also it's very important that if you make those senseless trades, they need to be showing up in the journal. So you actually get the lesson learned from it. So yeah, those two aspects I think are the ones that I've enjoyed the most.
That's good to know, man. Because the one thing that we really wanted to do differently, and the one thing that, at least when we first started bootcamp, our idea was that everyone knows information, but like nobody's actually reviewing if they're doing it right. So yeah, maybe you watch a video, but did you learn it properly? So what I really wanted to do was just implement like a lot of review into it, like both in the learning phase, so in phase 1, and phase 2, the backtest reviews, and phase 3 with the journals. If you make a stupid trade, then I'm going to call you out in front of everyone. But if you have a good trade, that gets a positive reinforcement.
Yeah, I mean, I remember like one of the first positive trades. I was like, yeah, we can definitely review this one. But then, so yeah. Let's see how I did this well. So yeah, it works both ways, but it gives you a sense of, okay, yeah, I need to be able to explain my thought process as to why I took this trade. And if it does not make sense to me, explaining it when I'm speaking out loud, it's not going to make sense to anyone else when they're going to review so yeah, I believe that was super helpful.
Really good to know, man.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's really the most differential aspect of bootcamp is the support, not only as I was saying, like in the terms of the group where it's not like one of 1,000 people there, but the actual, that actual help one-on-one, knowing that we are all in different parts of the world. So it's not like you need to be at that specific time. No, you work when you can, and then someone will tip back and let you know what you've done well or haven't.
Really good to know, man. We'll continue to keep that up. And if there was, well, I think we've probably already touched on this, but if there was one thing that you were doing that really like held you back, and if it was like one thing that you would really do differently if you were to start over again, I think you mentioned it already, but it was probably like overtrading and like not backtesting enough, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think those are two key aspects. So I think it's the best thing is spend the right time at each stage. Yeah. Meaning do not rush through it. Do not go into the next one until you're comfortable with one. So, or at least overlap them. So if you're going to start live testing, do back testing as well, because that's always going to be helpful. Those are the actual like multiple reps that you can get. So yeah, I believe those two aspects are the key ones for me. So spending more time where it matters, which is actually back testing, spending less time where you can cloud your thought process, which is the charts.
Awesome. Well said, man. And now that you've gotten funded, we all know the numbers. It's 150K in the future. In the near future, hoping it's going to be much more. But like, on an internal level, do you feel a lot more confident as a trader? Do you feel like you've got to this level? Are you confident that you can do this again? Like get funded again? Well, just scale.
Yeah. I mean, I believe when things really click, where like after failing a few times, where I was trying to replicate the fail quick or pass quick, I realized, okay, I'm going to do this one differently. So I changed the way I was approaching risk because of the limitation of that funding account. So I started doing things in a more consistent way. Okay. As I got funded, I just continued that trend. So I believe that's going to be the thing for me. It's do not overcomplicate it. Do not overtrade. Continue on working because it's always good to have more tricks up your bag. But I definitely feel like if I've done this with X amount, I can do it again. It's just a matter of putting in the same time and thought process. But scaling now is more, I believe the first funding challenge is the one where you,
The toughest, eh?
where you will spend more time, mentally as well. After all that, scaling up, it's also going to be like that barrier has already been lifted. It's just to replicate the same process.
Good to know. Like when you say earlier that okay, initially you were just or you either pass fast or you fail fast. What do you do differently? Like specifically with your recent funding challenge that kind of allowed you to make the breakthrough?
So this funding challenge was for 150K. You had a target of 9K in 8 days of trading and a max drawdown of 5K. So what was happening sometimes is as I was risking a bigger percentage of it, the drawdown. So if I had a trade that started on the positive direction and then ended up failing, the drawdown impact was bigger on it. So in those cases, what I started doing is instead of just trying to get 2 or 3 big moves, I'm going to be consistent, make something that will not risk the full account. As I'm getting further away from that drawdown limit, I can be a bit more creative and invest a bit more percentage. So I believe it was more of a, okay, take a step back, do this one step at a time. Do not focus on like, what's the full end target? Let's focus on what can I do today to be closer to that target. So.
Got you. It's a really good lesson.
Yeah, it's a lesson that I'm sure you've had in the past and more people have had it, but until you actually live it, it's always easy because you've all this topics, all the psychology of it. I know you guys have already discussed it plenty of times, but until you actually go through those feelings and those emotions and the actual stage is when you start realizing, okay, it's not as easy to start trading if you're not fully confident on this or if you're doubting yourself or whatever. So I see some guys that have had to take a step back in the group chat and then join back again, said, think here. So instead of publicly stating everything, I took a step back from the group chats as well. I was reading things, but I was trying to do my thing for a while. As I got the proof, I started to join back again and say, okay, yeah, I believe that was helpful for me at the time.
Got you. Yeah, it's funny because I think I just posted a tweet just now. Like I've posted this multiple times actually, which is usually your desire to make quick money is ironically that desire is going to prevent you from making the big money. And I think you've just also hit the nail on the head.
For sure.
You know, it doesn't really click until you go through it and then you realize it. Like, okay, slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and that's the thought process that I tend to have because on days when I have a winning trade, you can say, okay, I'm done for the day. I've had this winning trade. I'm already in the profit that I was expecting. I don't need to look for additional goals in this chart. While on the days that you actually fail on your first trade, you start revenge trading, you start over trading. Okay, I'm going to at least get back to break even, and then the losses accumulate. So yeah, it's exactly that. It's trying to make money quick or to regain back what you've lost is what usually ends up going or working on the other way around.
Yeah. Makes sense. So you've only joined bootcamp for like a pretty short amount of time. I think it's only been like 2-3 months. If there was someone that is, kind of sitting on the fence or in the same position as you like 3 months ago and, they're thinking about bootcamp, what would you say to them?
What I would say is enjoy the process. I mean, take this one step at a time. The market's always going to be there. So you do not need to rush because the bull market is coming to an end. If you're looking on an intraday basis, every single day is going to present an opportunity. So
Yeah.
if you try to go too fast through these things, you may pass and maybe succeed at first, but then you'll start seeing the gaps that have accumulated. So it's good to take the proper time at each stage. Make sure that all the concepts or the emotions, everything are like in check instead of rushing through things.
Got you. And so I guess last question. If there is someone that is on the fence, they're thinking about joining bootcamp, they're hesitating, what would you say to them? Would you recommend it?
Yeah, I'd for sure recommend it. I'm saying if you are committed to learn things in a logical manner and you're not here just for the short term, but you want to learn something that is good for you in the long run, and that the goal is to be consistent, not just one-time success. I think this is it. So we're not going for the one-off big booms, 10 hours, 20 hours. It's better to learn something that you can do consistently rather than something that feels like luck. If I get a 20 hour, I will complain, but what I'm saying is,
yeah, but you probably
I'm not thinking I'm chasing.
No, that's good to know, man. You've really matured a lot since the first day that you've done bootcamp. Really good to see, man. This is just the start.
Here, for sure. I mean, now it's a matter of I've already done it once. It's proven myself I can do this consistently, and that's it. That's the key topic for me. If I can make it consistently, then scaling it's just a matter of a different number that is showing up in the charts.
Yeah, same process.
There's going to be too much more to it.
Yeah, same process, just different numbers, bigger numbers.
Yeah, hopefully that's the case. Yeah,
that'll happen, man. Gotta have belief.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's going to happen eventually. Again, I do not need to rush over these things. And the same way that sometimes when you have too many, a few consecutive successful trades, you are at the top of the mountain, and then you have a few losses, you are at the bottom of the mountain. I think it's more fun. I'm going to be always at the same spot. I'm going to, just a number, different numbers. So that's the goal.
Nice. All right, man. Dude, thanks so much for taking the time to hop on. And
no worries at all. I mean, happy to have this call. It means that I'm at a good stage. So
yeah, it does.
It does. Positive. And it's the opportunity. I do not always get the chance to discuss some of these topics with the real life people that I have around, because they do not get to experience some of these things.
Yeah.
So it's good to discuss it with someone like has gone through it plenty of times.
Right. Have a good day.
Yeah.
I'll see you. Right?
Yeah, you too. Have a good night in your case, but yeah, I'll see you around.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.